am your moderator for this very healthy sized panel today. First, I have a quick housekeeping. Is there anything coming in after us? Does anyone know? Awesome.
Show or something?
I don't know. We're just gonna yap until somebody is like, oh, that's fucking it. Yes. No, we're not. We're breaking our rules. We are reclaiming our time is what we're doing here. We're gonna start off with some introductions. Yes. Do we need one more? Feel free to
get a volunteer.
Yes. All right. While that is being sorted out in the background, we are going to start with introductions. We're just gonna go down the line here, and I will start us off. Name, my notes here phrased it as brand or band, however you kind of want to introduce yourself. And I am making a big assumption here that everybody is using she, her pronouns. So this introduction is a great opportunity to be like, you're wrong. And I will accept that and adjust my behavior accordingly. My name is Morgan. I am Miss Goth Seattle 2020. I am a DJ and also put together my own events and do booking over at the Rendezvous over in Belltown. And I'm just gonna pass this microphone down, and when we get to the halfway point, then like you guys can take that microphone there and go.
Thank you, Morgan. Can we hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm usually not in front of like the camera. I'm behind the camera. So Elizabeth here with Yes Music Productions in Seattle, Washington. We produce dark wave, gothic, industrial, post-punk shows at venues such as Mechanismus.
Hi, I'm Vanessa, Ratio Strain. I also do writing for Static magazine as well.
Thank you guys for being here today. I'm Rashree of Negative Format.
I'm Nina Heckman of Metropolis Records.
I'm Mary Catman. I'm been a musician for over 20 years. I'm a producer, audio engineer, the side solo project Mary Catman. I work with my husband Tom Shear in Helix. I also collaborate with all different artists, and I have a new project called Orphans. But yeah, I'm just a producer, like audio nerd. Yeah.
Not
I'm JQ, brand JQ. And really, I'm a local Seattle DJ. I've been a DJ here for almost 30 years. And I really just.
And you yourself are only 30.
I just play the music.
I'm Erica Dunham with Internet.
I'm Gabby Gustafson, composer, producer, and frontperson of Viva X.
I'm Jules, and I'm from Two Libras. I'm Severina Soul, and I'm from Scilab, and a Soul Siren, and also Sugar Hiccup, a Cocteau Twins tribute band, which is not industrial. But and I sing and I write music, and I'm a performance artist, and I do a bunch of stuff for a long time.
Yes, there is just a massive amount of talent on this stage, and I love it. Oh, okay, we're gonna actually have JQ be the keeper of the halfway point there, and this will be our system. Just once it gets to there, we'll reset it. Yes. So many fantastically talented women on this stage right now. I am certain this is going to be the part where we talk about some bad stuff for a moment. I am certain that we have all faced some sort of instance of sexism at some point in our professional careers, and I want to kind of get it out of the way early so that we can talk about ways to build each other up for the rest of the panel. So I would love to just kind of share a shitty experience so that we can all kind of have a moment of solidarity, one that and I will start here so you have a minute to think about it. One thing that I have unfortunately encountered multiple times is where I will be actively DJing and someone will come up and talk to the nearest standing man as if they are the DJ and can do things like take a request or be like, hey, the venue made this thing. And they always come up and act very confused as to like, wait, but you're operating the machinery, but woman, so clearly this person here. So that's an unfortunate thing that I have seen play out multiple times and always kind of sucks.
Sorry, Morgan. I personally can't say that we, Yes Music, Elizabeth, myself, Yasha, even, who's, by the way, she's not here, unfortunately. She's at her grandmother's funeral today.
Oh.
She's my other half, my, I guess my work wife, metaphorically speaking. Anyway, she would love to be here, but she's not. Anyway, I don't think I've ever actually honestly experienced any of that. I come from a military background, 24 years actually, and I think as long as I've always like showed up and did my job and did it well, and not to say do it like at a man's level or, do it better than a man, but just do your job and do it well. And I think that just like that shines through, and hopefully, like, knock on wood, I never have like that's not wood. But, I never have an actual experience now after I've said this. Like, no, I never have. But I would say, but I always keep my eye out for it though, right? And if we're producing a show and I see that happening at one of our shows, let's say to like the DJ who is maybe a female, then of course I'm gonna intervene and I'm gonna say something. But I can't really sit here and tell you.
That's good. I legitimately love that for you.
I'm also a drummer, and one of my favorite things is when I go to buy anything at the music store. The best thing in the world to hear as a woman is, oh, that's for you? And are you in an all-girl band? My absolute favorite thing to hear when I'm trying to buy something.
So for me, it's not horrible, but when everyone asks, oh, what do you do? Who's your band? What do you do in the band? I said, well, I do vocals predominantly. And then people are like, oh, so you just press the button and you just sing. And I'm like, no, actually, we break everything down. So anytime you see negative format on stage, we are composing the entire song from scratch. So a song can be 2 minutes, it can be 2 days if we could. So it takes a lot of, we practice so much. I mean, like hours. The day before, and we spent 10 hours just sitting in one room doing nothing but making sure that we are on time, our levels are correct. And so people don't understand that I do actually understand how to do things that my bandmates can do. So no, I don't just push a button and sing. So that's, important for people to understand. We're capable.
I would say I'm actually pretty lucky in this industry, like Elizabeth has said. I've worked a lot of jobs in my life. I worked as a welder for a while, and I have so I have other stories from that. And for the most part, I work with some really awesome people. I have an amazing team, which makes it really great for me. Like, my 2 employees have known me since I was 5. Like, I consider them uncles of mine, so they have my back. And then my mom and I work together. So she was the first engineer at South Philly, female engineer, and so she knows what it's like. I have had one instance with a band, and I cannot name names, where it was very obvious. It felt like it was, I need to blame a woman, and it was not my job. They were blaming me for someone else's stuff, but they needed to make a scene of a woman. But I got my mom, and she's just like, I'm sorry, but you need to respect Nina. And so that was that. And so I have a team that supports me. So I couldn't be luckier, honestly. So, yeah.
Well, as I was saying, I've been on the music scene for over 20 years. I started when I was 15, and I was in the punk rock music scene. And I was in a band starting in high school, I play shows and stuff, and I'd definitely be the only woman there a lot of the time. And I've had audience responses of just people sitting down when my performance was happening and just not being taken seriously. And my new thing is people don't believe that I write and produce and engineer all my own stuff. And that's really disheartening. Like I pride over it because like when you're so passionate about something and you spend as long as I have working on things, it really eats away at you when you can't even collect credit for all of the hours and tireless hours of work that you've put in learning your DAW and your plugins and your technique, and you're trying to nail it down, and just hearing people automatically assume that you're getting help from a man, and it's really hurtful. And I think for a long time it stopped me from learning how to record myself. It stopped me from learning my DAW, or even learning a DAW, because I was so intimidated, because I've experienced so much sort of like talking down to, like in my journey as a musician. It took a lot of guts for me to learn how to record myself and just be really like take my own power into my own hands. And I always tell other women, like, don't let it stop you. Like, if you don't have anyone to work with, like, you can try and do it on your own and see. And yeah, so I've experienced a lot of very hard moments in my life where I just wanted to quit, just because it sucks. And my husband is obviously extremely, a sum of 23, amazing, but he doesn't help me with stuff, and I get a lot of, when Tom helps you with your marriage, no, he doesn't help me, we are, we do Helix together and everything, and it's lovely, and he's amazing. I will talk him up all day long, but it is frustrating, like, you do spend so much time, and people just go, oh, wait, you write your own stuff? Oh, yeah, I do. So that's my story, but yeah.
For me, nothing like really bad. Maybe because I've been told that I'm scary. I think in terms of like things like more like microaggressions, right? So I'm DJing in a nightclub, and never a woman, some dude will come up and mess with my levels because he thinks they should be better. So, don't fuck with my knobs unless I tell you to fuck with my knobs. Nothing like what these wonderful women have been through, because I don't have to put myself out there as much, but that's annoying.
I think touching base on what you were saying is like, oh, you write your own music? Amazing. Yes, I do. That's it.
Yeah, similar to Mary and Erica, definitely got a lot of the, you write and produce your own music? Yes, I do. I actually do write everything for the project. I actually just remembered one time I was in a pop punk band loading out, and someone actually broke my amp trying to grab it and load out for me. They broke the foot switch on it. I did not raise nearly as much of the scene as I should have, but I've actually had gear damaged by dudes pulling the we will help the woman routine, which is, of course, it's always dudes, and it's never helping.
Well, I was blessed that I grew up with 3 brothers, and they gave me a great example of how it's going to be for me in the world. And I would say, like, yeah, I've experienced what these wonderful artists have been going through, and I just kind of use it as my fuel to show them wrong. It is my drive. And I have a great husband that sees this, and he's always picking me up when it hits me sometimes. So, I could try to look like a badass, inside I'm a little sensitive. But I just don't let it stop me. And I hope we can get better, because at this age, I'm like, how are we still dealing with this? It is ridiculous.
I have to be really careful what I say here. The homies are in the crowd. No, I've been really lucky to be raised up in the industrial music scene with a bunch of really amazing guys. And so, yeah, in the music industry, the one person who fucked me over the most was a woman. If you know, you know. But I would say that what is the most annoying thing is if I have an opinion as a woman, And then you dudes like look at me, and then you like look at your other dude. It's like, what the fuck is that? What is that right there? Y'all gotta check in with each other. So yeah, but really, I for the most part have to say that like in the industrial music scene, it's been pretty awesome. I haven't been treated very badly at all. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Also Matilda.
Noted. Thank you. Great. Now we've gotten that out of the way. We're done. We can talk about great things like the next question here on my list, which is how are we holding the door open for the people coming after us? How are we working on improving the community, not just for the women and femmes currently, but also kind of that next generation? And I think this, goes also to my fellow event producers and like what Elizabeth brought up a great point earlier about like if you see something, say something. And I guess with that, we'll kind of start with you.
All right. So I'm actually kind of like the next generation. Technically, we've only been doing this for like not even 3 years. It was Ali and the Mechanismus gang who kind of coached us and mentored us into becoming live music producers, all the things to do. And as a result, because of their mentorship, we've built a really good reputation for ourselves as promoters here in Seattle, where the word's getting around around the globe, across the country. Darkwave bands in Texas tell their fellow darkwave band friends in, let's say, California, like, work with Elizabeth and Yasha. They're just so buttoned up and everything like that. But what I try to do is everything that Ali had taught us about how to be good promoters, and we're still we learn every day. I pay it forward, and I had lunch with a friend, and he's looking to produce some shows, and I was like, hey man, let's grab, actually it was dinner. We grabbed dinner, and I gave him like some pointers about stuff and how to produce a show, because like our scene will only get better if we have like good people like that, and if we can pass that knowledge. Like, don't hold that knowledge. Don't be like, oh, I'm the best promoter in town, and I will do all the shows, and I'm going to be competitive with other promoters. Like, no, I'm gonna pay it forward to the next generation and school them. I've got a roster of like bands and venues and talent agents that I pull from like every day, and I share that without a problem with other artists, with other promoters, because like it'll only grow our scene, and we want a great scene. That's what I would say.
I agree with that. I think it's all about giving someone a chance, because we all up here had a chance. We were given a chance by someone that believed in us, and I have people in this room. Scott, I love you to death. You were one of the ones who said, hey, you should do some music. And Dave over there, yeah, you. He's booked one of my first shows, and I think that's what we need, is people that believe in us and give us that chance.
I think actually I had a conversation earlier with Craig. We were talking about the diversity of how the genre has become. Like, just this panel, we're all so different, but it all just meshes, and it's such a beautiful thing. And I remember when I first started to sing, it just happened by chance on parallel projects actually, and I was singing. My voice is more of like a kind of an Indian, and actually I think I sang some Hindi in that song. And I was terrified that it was going to be received like, who's this person? But it was wonderful. So I think just opening the diversity of, you don't have to be a specific kind of person or sing a specific way or be hard or be too soft. You could just do as you choose, and just show other people that it's okay to just be yourself in the genre that we have, and it's going to be accepted so well, and it's gonna be beautiful, because I've got nothing but I did a performance a couple days ago, and it was just amazing how many people that came up to me and was just like, oh my god, the way this lyrics is, and how it's so different, and everybody's so different, and it was just beautiful to reach these people in such a diverse and beautiful way. So I think just opening up diversity in this genre for other people to say, hey man, I could do this too. So that's pretty much it.
I'm gonna go off on a slight tangent, but I'm kind of a tomboy. Most of my friends are guys, but there's something about like my lady friends where they make me want to just be better. Like my lady friends are just like badass women that are on top of their game. Like in general, most of my friends, I pick people who are good people and are inspirational. But the women they're just badasses. And kind of to talk on what Tish said or Elizabeth or whatever you want to go back to, I guess production. You know, she's given me like a list of contacts, and we're talking about throwing shows together and things like that. And I think there is beginning to be like more women showing up in this industry, and I also feel like I have a different relationship. Like I've talked about community, and I talk to my bands a lot about how they're doing, but I feel like my lady bands, they call me and they're just like, tell me about their day, and it's like, we just end up like really bonding a lot, and I think it's like, there's this certain thing where they're like, yes, there's another woman, and I get to like talk to you, and I can relate, you know, and I like being that support for them, so however we can support each other.
I guess my message is more for the women up here. I've wanted to quit so many times. Like I said before, you get so disheartened. Sometimes you're like, is anyone hearing me? Like, you know, but I've had people write to me, like sometimes, even at my lowest, where they're like, I started writing because you wrote something, or you know, I mean, even DJs, like, you know, women are watching us. Like, I know that we don't always get to talk to these women, but, you know, because you're not always gonna send a message to someone, but there's a quiet exchange happening here, and I really do think it's important that we continue and persist. And I think it's just a really good example, just to, you know, push through. If you've ever feel just down and you don't want to keep going, just keep going. And one other thing is I have a daughter, she's 9, and I want her to know that, like, when she gets older, she can do whatever she wants to do. You know, she could be a musician, or she can be a creative artist, and or be in a male-dominated industry and not feel like, I don't know, intimidated by that. So I think just keep going, you know. All right. That's my message.
I think for me, it's just boosting the signal as much as you possibly can, and support female artists. There is no small amount of support for your female artists.
I think the worst thing you can do is gatekeep. And I think the more knowledge you can share with people, the stronger everything will be. Everything will be better. So just share knowledge as much as you can.
Yeah, I agree. Sharing that knowledge and the spaces in which we perform and create events is so valuable. That's something that Eric and I have actually been working on together in Vancouver, is starting to throw more electro-industrial events, bring artists of all sorts, especially female and diverse artists, into that space, and just get that real range of voices and experiences from everyone.
No, I never really thought like what I'm making for the difference, because I'm really just focusing right now and surviving now and hoping making music that people like. But really, in the end, I'm just making music I like. And, you know, I try to bring in a new take on the scene. We're kind of a collection of not just industrial. I was more punk. I know I'm not industrial really. I was more the industrial one. But I'm hoping I can bring in that raw energy again. Like, I was a 90s kid, so I'm hoping I can open that up and we can all feel like, yeah. I'm just trying to bring in that punk energy into the scene and open the doors that way, and I hope it works. And I try to uplift all of us, because I know we have our moments that we feel like crap, and I'm like, message me, like, let's talk, like, I don't want you to feel alone in this. So.
I would say that there's like scenes within scenes, and there's like there's the underdogs, or the punks, or the industrial scene, and then there's the clique of that and the copy repeat of that. And that's awesome and everything, and like it's been an incredible scene that's been built, and I just really encourage
to try new things, to try to step outside the box a little bit, to try to sound weirder, or bring in some sheet metal or something, or I don't know, but to push the boundaries a little bit. I'd like to see that envelope being pushed a little bit, and then also I'd like to see more encouragement for local artists by local scenes. Because I know for me myself, like I've been, I'm from Seattle, and I've been in a lot of bands here, and and I'll go out and tour, and really, really well received. But for some reason at home, like my homies are just like, oh yeah, I go to your show, but I just gotta wash my hair. But and it's like, come on, God. What? But then later, you play a big show with somebody else, and then they're there, and it's okay, right? It's okay to support your homie when they're with bigger homies. So that's silly. So I say just fuck, if you feel like loving up your people, just do it. Yeah.
Fantastic. In the panel before us, which was wonderful, and if you weren't here for it, you missed out, somebody brought up an excellent point about how the alternative community is just that. It's where we get to be alternative and get to be whatever weirdo we are. And I think that's a really great thing about this community. And I think that one thing that's really important is to make sure that I'm not sure the exact right word here, but I'm going to go with the most vulnerable among us feels safest in whatever spaces it is we occupy, because if everybody feels safe, that's when we get to be our weirdest. That's when we get to wear whatever fun outfits or just be ourselves. And so I think cultivating that space as a group collaborative effort from the organizers to the performers to the people in the audience is a really fantastic thing that just makes this community exactly that, a community. Would someone mind shouting out the time at me, please?
4:22.
Fantastic. At this point, I would like to open it up to audience questions. Is there anyone who has something that they would like to ask any of the wonderful people on this stage? Really? No one? Okay, come on down.
This is a tough question. Yeah. Oh yeah. Here comes the bad woman right here.
Please sing it. Please sing your question.
Are you gonna sing for us?
Again, if you'd like me to.
I'd like to ask a question.
So actually, it's kind of a serious question. Coming from male-dominated scene, so I come mostly from a heavy metal background. I come from a very heavily male-dominated scene, and as a female, I've experienced some tension and some traction, and there's not a lot of other females kind of doing what we do in a lot of places, and a lot of times it kind of sucks because you experience girl-on-girl friction. Because there's not a lot of females, you feel that competition, and it creates a lot of tension, and it almost makes you not want to make friends with girls. It almost makes you want to stay away from women and put up those big defenses, and you feel more comfortable with guys because they are the majority. So what's your take on that when you see that woman-on-woman kind of friction or tension in the industry or in your scene? How many times have you experienced that competition and just felt shitty about it?
I just wanted to say, because I'm going to answer you right away, I feel like in male-dominated industries, there's the token woman. If that ceiling is met, there's one woman at a festival that maybe only books male-dominated, male, bands. The token woman just feels okay. So she got it. No, so I guess we should all back off because this is fun,